Hello everyone. Let's begin our session today with subject-verb agreement. This is one of the question types that you can expect a lot in most of your exams that you take. And one more good thing about this question type is it is something which is easy to recognize and easy to correct. Okay, so such questions where you can definitely identify the error, they are something that you have to give a lot of importance to. So before we begin our session on subject-verb agreement, let's ask ourselves the question of what is a subject? It's a simple question, right? Some of you might say subject, mathematics, English, physics, that is a subject. Now, it's not about maths, physics or English. I'm talking about a subject in a sentence. A subject in a sentence. What is a subject in a sentence? In any sentence that you speak or in any paragraph that you write, there should be something main thing about which you discuss or about which you write. That main thing is called as a subject. For example, Rahul is eating a laddu. Rahul is eating a laddu. What is the subject for us in this sentence? The subject is Rahul. We are talking about Rahul there. Okay. Now, suppose I reframe the sentence like this. Laddu is being eaten by Rahul. Laddu is being eaten by Rahul. I'm giving importance to laddu than the person who is eating it. Okay. Probably laddu is very dear to you. That's why you're giving importance to laddu than Rahul. So subject-verb agreement, the first thing that you need to do is you need to understand what a subject is. So at times what happens is the sentence is very long and you need to identify the subject there. For some of you, you may think, oh, that's very silly. Identifying a subject is very easy thing. It's not very difficult. True, it's not very difficult. But at times what happens is your sentence is very long. Your sentence is very long and there are a lot of unnecessary or a lot of phrases that come in between your sentence and your verb. Because these phrases come in between your sentence and verb, you may make a mistake in identifying your subject. And because of that, you will end up with a wrong answer. So that's the reason, give importance to identifying the subject. Identify the verb in the sentence. Yes, locating the verb is the simplest thing. We can easily locate verbs in any sentence. So identify the verb. Next, check the number of the subject. Is it singular or plural? And then check whether the verb is singular or plural. After that, you need to ensure that singular subject will get singular verb, plural subject gets plural verb. This is simple. Identify the subject, identify the verb, then check if they are singular or plural. Accordingly, decide your answer and correct it. Now, this is a very simple thing. What is a big deal, right? It's very simple and you have very few rules here. But there's something that you have to remember here. One important thing that you have to remember is a word, is it a singular one or a plural one, is something that you have to be very careful about. In noun and numbers concept, in the noun and numbers concept that you learned, sorry about the spelling, noun and numbers concept, you learned about singular and plural, right? Good, we learned about it, we all remember about it. But there were some words which look like singular but they are plural. Let me ask you a simple question here. Scissors. Is it singular or plural? Tell me guys, is it singular or plural? How many of you say it's singular? And how many of you say it's plural? Well, scissors is one single object. We agree to that fact. But grammatically, we treat scissors as a plural noun. So, scissors is plural. So, accordingly, you need to have a plural verb after the word scissors. Scissors, tongs, pajamas, shorts. Remember, your pajama is something that should have two legs. Can you imagine a pajama with just one leg? No, that's not possible. Tongs are something like this, two things. Can you imagine a tongue with just one hook kind of stuff? No. These are certain words which are single objects, but grammatically they are treated to be plural, and accordingly the verb has to be plural. Clear? So that's the reason it is given importance to identifying the subject and checking whether it's singular or plural. Now the next thing is identifying the verb and checking whether it's singular or plural. Now what is a singular verb? How do I identify it? Suppose I ask you the question, among the two words, decide and decides, which one is singular? Some of you, or some like me also, the moment you see S, you think that's plural, because we learnt about subject verb in noun and numbers, boy singular, add an S, boys plural. Is it same with verbs? Nope. Now how do I remember this thing that it's not the same thing with verbs? Let me ask you something that you see around all the time. A common animal that you see always. Dog, right? I'm scared of dogs. That's why I remember this sentence better. This is my sentence. The dog barks. The dogs bark. The dog barks. The dogs bark. Right? Is that clear? Bark is a sound, and see, I've used barks for singular dog. I've used bark for dogs, which is plural. Got it? So remember this sentence, and if you're someone who is having a dog phobia, you should never forget this sentence. Okay? So having an S may not always make it a plural verb. So you need to be very careful with that S related verbs. Okay? So let's learn some rules with respect to subject verb agreement. Now singular subjects need singular verbs, plural subjects need plural verbs. So my first sentence here is, my brother is a nutritionist. My brother is a nutritionist. So brother, is it singular or plural? Yes, it is singular. Brother is singular, so is a singular verb. Brother is singular, so is a singular verb there. Now suppose I have to make it plural. How do you change it? My brothers are nutritionists. You have an S there. Okay? Next one. My sisters are mathematicians. My scissors are pink in color. Anybody having a pink scissors? Okay, my scissors are pink in color. I have a blue one. Okay. A pair of scissors is considered to be singular. A pair of scissors is considered to be singular. So singular, a pair of scissors. Plural, scissors. Clear? Remember that. I don't want any of you to forget that anymore after this class. Okay? So this is a general rule. Singular subject needs singular verbs. Plural subjects need plural verbs. Simple. Just one rule. Okay? Now based on this concept, you have many other standard rules that are developed. The first one is, when you have two singular subjects joined by the word and, they take a plural verb. So the mayor and his brothers. So mayor is singular, but brothers is plural. So here you might think, okay, fine, but let me have it like this. The mayor and his brother. The mayor and his brother. In that case also I'll use the word are. Okay? The mayor singular, this brother singular, my verb is plural. Mayor singular, brothers plural, my verb is plural. Whether it's one singular and one plural or two singular subjects, the verb goes to be as plural. Okay? Now, this condition has one exception that you need to remember. For example, you have one example here, bread and butter is his favorite food. You're talking about his favorite food, and the favorite food combination is bread and butter. They're together. Not bread alone, not butter alone. Can you imagine what did you have for breakfast? Oh, I had butter. I had butter for a breakfast. If any of your friends say that to you, then you can imagine within 1 month he will not fit in the door of our class. Right? Every morning I have butter for breakfast. Okay? Only butter, nothing else. He'll not fit into our classroom after a month. Right? So, let me give you one more example here. Assume I am Cinderella. Okay? Assume I am Cinderella and you have Cinderella with a horse and carriage, right? Is Cinderella a Jhansi ki Rani that she can ride a horse? No. Cinderella needs horse. She needs also the carriage, right? On which she can sit. Now, is it enough for her just the horse? Nope. Is the carriage alone doing some good to her? Nope. Together, she needs them. So, horse and carriage is here. So, let's assume this is the Cinderella's carriage and probably this is Cinderella's horse. Right? Very bad shape, but assume that. Now, let me take my example. I don't know car driving. Okay? So, if somebody says to me, the car is in the garage, the car is in the garage, or the car is at the door, what's the use for me? Nothing. It's like a showpiece for me because I don't know driving. So, they have to say the driver and the car is at the door. For me, they have to say the driver and the car is at the door because for me, it's together as a combination that I need. Did you get that? So, this is one exception that you need to be careful with. Don't do a mistake with this kind of stuff because a lot of times people think any relevant topics are always taking singular verb. No. Read your sentence very carefully with this simple rule and identifying the right subject and the right verb. General rule is 2 singular subjects joined by and take a plural verb. 1 singular, 1 plural, even then plural verb. 2 plural, fine. Boys and girls are here. Even then it takes a plural verb. Exception is bread and butter. Is my favorite food. Okay? Okay. Next. Sometimes you have words which are joined with together as well as along with and all. Earlier I said that it is important for us to identify the subject because you will get phrases in between which might add confusion to us. The one such example is this one. The mayor. Now, mayor singular or plural? He is singular. As well as his brothers. Brothers singular or plural? Plural. What is my verb here? Is. Is it singular or plural? Singular. Is the sentence correct? How many of you say correct? Okay. Now, phrases such as together with, as well as, and along with are not the same as and. That's what we said. If it was the mayor and his brothers, we take are going to jail and this is correct. But here, my main subject is this. This is my subject. So, which is a singular subject. So, my verb has to be singular. So, is this sentence correct? Yep. That is correct. That is correct. Fine. Now, again here, bread and butter, I just repeated it so that you guys remember it one more time. Let me give you one more example here. Something like the house with its contents is insured. The house with its contents is insured. So my subject is the house. Is my verb. This is singular. This is also singular. Okay. One more. Cotton as well as silk are expensive or is expensive. Which one is correct? Should I go with is? Should I go with are? I just learnt that as well as Main subject is this, and accordingly my verb depends. So this is my answer. This is my answer. Is that clear? Okay, good. So you have with, together with, as well as such phrases. You need to be extremely careful in identifying the subject and then moving ahead with your verb. The next one. You have certain words or like every and each which begin your sentence. Whenever you have everyone or every or each in a sentence, they are considered to be singular, and accordingly your verb has to be singular. Your verb has to be singular. So when you have a sentence which is beginning with every or each, it's considered to be singular, and your verb should also be singular. For example, everyone has finished his or her homework. One important learning here. Two errors are possible in this type of sentences. One way you might get it is like this. Everyone have finished their homework. That will become an error because everyone is singular. Your verb is has, not have. So has is singular. So this is correct. Sometimes these two are given properly. Everyone has finished. Good. Fine. But they do put here the word there. Now there is a plural pronoun, right? Now we learned that whenever you use a pronoun to replace a noun, it should be in the same number as the noun. I will not say Rahul are coming into the class. Rahul are coming into the class. No, that's wrong. Similarly, here there would be wrong. His or her is correct. So two errors are possible in such sentences. One error could be with respect to the noun, another error could one error could be with respect to the pronoun, and another error could be with respect to the verb. Okay? So this is fine. Let's see the next one. Everybody is here. Is singular. Each of the students is responsible for doing his or her work. So good. Each singular, is singular, have the pronoun his or her, so there is not used, so this is also correct. This is all fine. Now in this type of sentence, there is one more possible way of giving an error in a sentence. Sometimes what they do is here, this S, they remove it. They remove this S. Each of the student is responsible for doing his or her work. What students will they do? Okay, madam said each is singular. So each is there, singular. His or her homework, pronoun is there, proper, done. But the error is here. They miss this S part of it, and because of that, it goes wrong. Okay, so it should be plural there. Each of the students is responsible for doing his or her homework. Is that clear? Yes? That's something that you have to remember. Generally, every or each, they take singular verb. Okay? Good. Now, we all know that sometimes we say, some of my students are here. Some of my students are late to class. Some of my students are good. Some of my students chat in the class. Some, all, these are certain words that we always say. Now, should we get influenced by these words and put singular or plural? How do I decide? Should some take singular? Should some take plural? That's an important question. So, how do I choose singular or plural in such cases? Some indefinite pronouns. What do you mean by indefinite pronoun? Yes? If I say some, I have some money. I have some money. How much? 1 rupee, 2 rupee, 10 rupee, 500, 5,000, 10,000. What is that sum? Do you have a clarity on the number part of it? How much? No. Some is an indefinite pronoun where you don't have the clarity of how much it is. Any is also something like that. So some are singular or plural depending on what they are referring to. So how do I decide this? Some of the beads are missing. Some of the water is gone. What is the difference in this sentence? In these two sentences. Now the common part of this is this. There's no change here. Here it's plural. This is an uncountable noun. Water are here, water is here. So that's the reason for this uncountable noun you take it singular, for this you take it plural. Got it? So the difference is that it depends on the word that it is referring to. Depends on the word that it is referring to. Beads is plural, so my verb is plural. Water is considered singular, so it is singular. Okay, now suppose you say some of the chocolates are missing. Some of the chocolates are missing. Some of the cake is missing even before I cut. Imagine it's your birthday and you're getting ready to cut the cake. By the time you open up, instead of having a complete circle of the cake, there's a half quarter part of it is missing. Do you have a younger brother or younger sister? You need to think, where did the cake go? Some of the cake is missing. Some of the cake is missing. Cake is singular, so my verb is singular. Chocolates are plural, so my verb is plural. Just remember that. Okay? Good. Now this is one interesting concept. Be extremely careful. Listen to me carefully. Now you have certain pronouns which begin with neither or either. Neither means like none, either means any one of them. When you have a sentence which is beginning with neither or either, they are considered to be singular and they require singular verbs. Neither or either. If a sentence is beginning with neither, either, they take singular verbs. For when I say neither of the two traffic lights is working. The left one is not working, the right one is also working. Neither of them are working. Neither of the two lights is working. Neither of the two lights is working. Remember, we generally end up saying plural verb. Colloquial English, you do that a lot, but it doesn't work in grammatical English. Sentences beginning with neither and either, you need to be careful there. Either of the girls is doctor, elder one or younger one. One is a doctor, I can say that surely. Okay, so that's the reason is singular. This is also singular verb. Remember, sentences beginning with neither and either. Neither of the students is selected in the interview. Neither this one is selected nor the other one is selected. Okay? Clear, guys? Neither, either, when you have a sentence beginning with that, you take a singular verb. Now the interesting change comes up here. There is a combination of words that we need to remember, and the first possible thing is when you have nor or is used, the subject closer to the verb determines the number of the verb. What am I talking here? Now if you see in this sentence, either my father or my brothers. Subject 1, father. Singular or plural? Singular. Brothers, singular or plural? Plural. What is my verb? Are. Singular or plural? Plural. Good. Next sentence, let me see here. Neither my brothers, plural, nor my father, singular. Is the verb. Is it singular, plural? Singular. What is happening here? As we read here, the subject closer to the verb. Closer, brothers, father. Now the same sentence will change its verb if it's written like this. Neither my father Neither my father nor my brother, neither my father nor my brothers are going to sell the house. Neither my father nor my brothers are going to sell the house. Okay? Is that clear? Neither my father nor my brothers are going to sell the house. So brothers here is plural, so accordingly you will have a plural verb there.